Good evening, Miss Beckham. Thanks for having us. Thank you for allowing me into your classroom, being able to watch the great work that you guys do, um, getting to watch your children explore and just do really good things in the classroom. Thank you for allowing me to observe Andy in his neutral environment for my class project that I'm working on. Thus far, student teaching has been pretty good, and I'm appreciating getting all of this um, background knowledge. So I appreciate you for being who you are and right where you were when you were there, allowing yourself to help me when I needed the most, and just giving me some insight on things that I can expect once I become that school teacher, that lead teacher that I'm working hard to become at the moment. Again, so thank you and your teacher, your co-teacher, for allowing me into your classroom space. I just wanted to go over some things that I noticed in that observation when I was observing Andy for the day. Um, I firstly wanted to start off by saying, as educators, as teachers, um, we like to follow standards, the framework that has been created for us educators, just to make sure that we're aligned with best practices and making sure we're meeting our children where they are and giving them what it has been research based things that they actually will need to grow and thrive in their further learnings and educations in school. So I say that to say that we like to use the NACCE standards when we're doing our observations and when we're coming up with our curriculum based work. And that's what I followed when I did this observation in your classroom just a few days ago with Andy. And I wanted to just give some insight on why we like to use those NACCE standards. As per NACCE's guidelines, NACCE standards provide that framework and the quality in early childhood education that as educators are looking to have as our own foundation when helping our students. And NACCE's does a great job at promoting developmentally appropriate practices, those best practice, those age development practices. They actually even break them down for us, age and developmentally where students should be and where they are, and it gives a framework that we're able to follow. And then after all of that is said, it's just an ethical way of conducting your classroom and making sure to be positive and meet your children where they are. So that's why we like to use those NACCE standards. Another thing I've learned so far from my studies is NACCE standards pretty much support you and your students. It gives you a background, it gives you a foundation that you want to follow. So NACCE supporting and engaging families and communities through respect. We want to make sure that we're always engaging our students. We want to make sure that we're always engaging our families. We want to make sure that we as educators are always doing that footwork and that background to make sure that we're always being engaged and we're always learning and we're always growing in the career that we've had also. So NACCE just gives all of us a background, all of us a foundation, all of us a framework that when following those best practices, we know that we're doing what's best for our children developmentally. So that's important. As educators, we should consider those different strategies that could help improve our students. So, after carefully watching your student Andy, who's 4 years old in your preschool class, I've come to understand that he's been in your class now 2 years, and you've been able to watch lots of significant growth. I was able to um, read some of that data that you have been taking on Andy over the past year and some change. So I am also privy to where Andy started and to see where Andy is right now. I just want to congratulate you and Andy's parents and congratulate Andy most of all because coming from a new country and coming into this country and coming into this new world at such an early age and growing the way he's growing and just making friends and just showing empathy and just being respectful and being such a great listener and such a great helper. You know, That's commendable. It shows just how resilient children are. I mean, we all are found to be really resilient, but I just adore being able to watch children's resiliency. It's an amazing character trait to watch. So, considering some strategies that we could use to help Andy, a nonverbal student, just a little background of when I observed him in your classroom. I observed him on a playground just a few days ago when he got to go outside and play. So I started to watch him from when you told the class to line up and to you sung the song, and it was like my feet are facing forward, my hands. I watched Andy go pick up his coat, put on his coat, and line up with his friends. I enjoyed watching him interact with his friends on the line. Although he didn't say any verbal words, his cues were very understanding. You can tell that he has friends, he's happy, he's comfortable, he's thriving, and that was also pretty cool to be able to watch Andy do. I watched him go outside. I watched him. You can tell that I can tell just from my observation that Andy enjoys being in class. He enjoys learning, although he isn't giving us lots of language. He's, like doing the cues, moving his head. He's using his hand to point to what he needs to. So he is communicating in the way that's best for him right now. So that's also very commendable for Andy. He's not in the corner. He's just doing what he needs to do to make sure that be able to understand him and where he is and what he needs. So I also think that's pretty good, pretty cool. Just to talk a little bit about Andy. Oh, I observed him eating lunch and literally communicating with his friends without saying a word. I watched his friends communicate with him. I watched him communicate with his friends. So that was pretty cool to watch also. I watched him help friends in different situations, whether it be cleaning up, helping a friend to clean up a mess, or helping a friend to put on their coat to get ready to go outside. I watched Andy do many things. I watched Andy pretty much communicate. I can see that Andy's very secure in his classroom and where he is without verbiage, without verbal wording. So that's just half of the battle, I believe, when it comes to Andy and watching his growth. I believe that if we make sure to promote family engagement along with that school engagement, I believe that Andy is going to grow significantly over the next few years, months, and etc. as he moves into his next primary level of schooling. Some things that we could do inside the classroom and at home. In the classroom as his teacher, and advice that we can give parents moving forward at home is to use a lot of those visual aids with Andy, with the words and the picture, and we're constantly giving Andy that language that he's not giving us and making sure that he's giving it back to us as we give it to him, whether it be bathroom. All right, Andy, bathroom, showing Andy the bathroom and now allowing Andy to point to that bathroom picture when he needs to communicate those things with us. Another implementation I think that Andy would benefit a lot from inside the classroom and at home is the storytelling. I believe that if we're giving Andy the images, if we're interacting with the story, if we're allowing him to put that story, take that story apart with interactives and put that story back together, allow him to do his pictures that he's really, really, really good at, that could help build up Andy's verbal expression also. Just continue to allow him to play with it, listen to the stories, and enjoy. I think those suggestions would be very beneficial to Andy. Um, Recognizing that Andy does not have a language, but he is able to communicate with us in other ways is dynamic. Allow Andy to communicate in the way that is best for him. We're still going to encourage verbal communication, but we're not going to disturb him from communicating with his hand. When we know he's pointing at that bathroom, we're just going to be like, okay, bathroom, Andy, bathroom. If he's trying to tell us that a friend wasn't being very kind to him, we're going to discuss that. Andy, show me what it is that you want to tell me. Oh, okay, he knocked over your tower. Got it, your tower. and then just have him to repeat those words and keep giving them back to us. I think that's another important cue that we could use in the classroom and give it to parents so that parents know that he should do those things at home also. um, Building to build up his communication skills. um, we still just want to allow him to prioritize the language and the cues that he does have and allow him to use what he uses to communicate with us. In addition to promoting some of those things, I want to encourage you guys and his parents to encourage more one-on-one interaction, whether it be you and Andy, your co-teacher and Andy. Make sure you're letting mom know. Make sure Andy's talking to his mom, his dad, his brother at home, or whoever's around him at home. Make sure you're allowing him one-on-one time on the carpet, that turn and share moments where he's able to just sit and turn and share and speak with friends on the carpet. Listen to what he's saying. Make sure he understands that topic that you guys are talking about. Make sure to pair him with students that also like to speak and where they're able to encourage him to speak a little more also. But just making sure to put him in those environments where people are speaking to him, around him, and where we're all just trying to pull that language out of him. Group activities is another great thing that I think would Andy would benefit from. Make sure just to promote that. Make sure his friends are promoting that dialogue. Andy, blue. The color is blue, Andy. When he was building up the blocks, a small group, and we were asking, "What color is this, Andy?" And he was kind of like just sitting there quiet. We want to just make sure that his friends also know. Andy's struggling with the color. Can you give him the what color it is? Even though we know Andy can point to the blue. If we're just saying Andy, identify where the blue is. We want to have his friends helping him to encourage Andy. That's blue right there. Andy, blue. Allowing Andy to watch his friends and just repeat what his friends are doing to help him grow in that way would be a beneficial to Andy inside the classroom and at home. These practices are going to align with Nacy's perfectly, and like I said before, that builds a framework that gives us something to that foundation to stand on. And if we keep following those NACI standards, we'll keep building on its scaffolding and differentiating those different things that Andy also needs to continue to grow in the way that's best for him also. Um, Practice improving. What else do I want to say? Just within his preschool environment, we want to just continue to have everybody support Andy how Andy is best supported. Visuals, language, allowing him to do what's best for him when he wants to communicate his needs can be in the groups. Andy taking him around the neighborhood, taking him on trips, allowing him to watch videos, just keep reading and reading and reading and reading and having those conversations with Andy. Andy, why do you think that friend is upset? And Andy may just continue to give us, oh, he's sad. Now, Andy may continue to say things like sad. When we're asking, how does this friend feel, Andy? Andy's maybe saying sad. And then we're going to say, oh, he's sad, like just to keep building on that one word. We're going to give him two words and then sometimes maybe three words just to make sure that we're giving Andy the language and building on what he needs further. And those should help build Andy's developments, some speech. Andy is very, very bright. Like I was saying, he's very friendly. He's very helpful. I love how he engages with his friends and in class. You can tell just how genuine Andy is, and I think that's pretty amazing, especially with Andy's development to concerns. Andy's running and Andy's playing and Andy's drawing those beautiful pictures. So he's getting there, he's working really hard and trying his best. We just have to continue to make sure to support him how he needs to be supported. Um, what else? Some more examples that I want to give is Andy is sing a lot of songs with him. We can also make sure to sing the songs, especially songs that repeat a lot or have those sequences that Andy can clap along or sing along or repeat a lot of the same verbiage, that's going to also support Andy in an amazing way. Doing circle time or greeting time or a small group, but even transitioning, that would be great for Andy when trying to support him. And some just a few more things that I wanted to acknowledge. Incorporating a more hands-on work with Andy where he's working in those peer groups. I think that'll also benefit Andy a lot. Continue support at home, classrooms. I think his confidence will continue to grow also with all of this at home and in school support. Um, Again, encouraging Andy to engage in those conversations from those read alouds and just talking about what's going on around him. Recalling stories is going to be very beneficial for Andy. His gross motor and his fine motors are very good, but we want to make sure to encourage that social and emotional group where he is around kids and he's playing in those small groups where he's kind of being pushed and encouraged to do a little bit more talking. Most importantly, just remember to give Andy the wording that he needs, encourage him and support him. And yeah, I think if we continue just to continue to support Andy in the way that he needs to be supported, visual aids, interacting, learning, peer group, collaboration at home with parents, and we're all on the same all on the same page, I think Andy is going to grow tremendously. One other thing I wanted to point out was on the carpet. I noticed that Andy doesn't do 2 or 3 step directions. So we're singing if you're happy and know when Andy's clapping when you say clap, but when we needed Andy to give us all 3 steps back, Andy kind of like just stopped off at a clap. So we want to make sure to continue to do situations where Andy has to follow 1 step, then a 2 step, then a 3 step, and we want to continue to make these things happen often enough that Andy can continue to follow them and he can build on that skill. Um, and like I said, I appreciate you allowing me to be in your classroom and to support you guys and to observe Andy during my learning times. In any way that I can help you or Andy moving forward, I would appreciate the the guidance that you can give, and I would appreciate you allowing me to push into your classroom and further support Andy or whomever else that you feel could use some extra one-on-one support. Thank you. It's been great serving you.